The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, more commonly the Golden Dawn, was a secret society devoted to the study and practice of occult Hermeticism during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Known as a magical order, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was active in Great Britain and focused its practices on theurgy and spiritual development. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Grimoire of Myths. Today, we have an exciting topic to explore: the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. But first, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any of our fascinating explorations into history, culture, and the unknown. Let's get started. Many present-day concepts of ritual and magic that are at the center of contemporary traditions, such as Wicca, were inspired by the Golden Dawn, which became one of the largest influences on 20th century Western occultism. The three founders, William Wynne Westcott, William Robert Woodman, and Samuel Liddell Mathers, were Freemasons and members of the Rosicrucian Society of England. Westcott appears to have been the initial driving force behind the establishment of the Golden Dawn. The Golden Dawn's framework was based on hierarchy and initiation, similar to Masonic lodges. However, women were admitted on an equal basis with men. The Golden Dawn was the first of three orders, although all three are often collectively referred to as the Golden Dawn. The first order taught esoteric philosophy based on the Hermetic Kabbalah and personal development through study and awareness of the four classical elements, as well as the basics of astrology, tarot divination, and geomancy. The second or inner order, the Order of the Ruby Rose and Golden Cross, taught magic, including scrying, astral travel, and alchemy. The third order was that of the secret chiefs, who were said to be highly skilled. They supposedly directed the activities of the lower two orders by spirit communication with the chiefs of the second order. The foundational documents of the original Order of the Golden Dawn were known as the cypher manuscripts. The manuscripts give the specific outlines of the grade rituals of the order and prescribe a curriculum of graduated teachings that encompass the Hermetic Kabbalah, astrology, occult tarot, geomancy, and alchemy. According to the records of the order, the manuscripts passed from Kenneth Mackenzie, a Masonic scholar, to the Reverend Woodford, whom British occult writer Francis King describes as the fourth founder. The documents did not excite Woodford, and in February 1886, he passed them on to Freemason William Wynne Westcott, who managed to decode them in 1887. Westcott, pleased with his discovery, called on fellow Freemason Samuel Liddell MacGregor Mathers for a second opinion. Westcott asked for Mathers' help to turn the manuscripts into a coherent system for lodge work. Mathers, in turn, asked fellow Freemason William Robert Woodman to assist the two, and he accepted. Mathers and Westcott have been credited with developing the ritual outlines in the cypher manuscripts into a workable format. Mathers, however, is generally credited with the design of the curriculum and rituals of the Second Order, which he called the Ruby Rose and Golden Cross. In October 1887, Westcott claimed to have written to a German countess and prominent Rosicrucian named Anna Sprengel, whose address was said to have been found in the decoded cypher manuscripts. According to Westcott, Sprengel claimed the ability to contact certain supernatural entities, known as the secret chiefs, that were considered the authorities over any magical order or esoteric organization. Westcott purportedly received a reply from Sprengel, granting permission to establish a Golden Dawn temple and conferring honorary grades of Adeptus Exemptus on Westcott, Mathers, and Woodman. The temple was to consist of the 5 grades outlined in the manuscripts. In 1888, the Isis Urania Temple was founded in London. In contrast to the SRIA and Masonry, women were allowed and welcome to participate in the order in perfect equality with men. The order was more of a philosophical and metaphysical teaching order in its early years. Other than certain rituals and meditations found in the cypher manuscripts and developed further, magical practices were generally not taught at the first temple. For the first 4 years, the Golden Dawn was one cohesive group later known as the First Order or Outer Order. A Second Order or Inner Order was established and became active in 1892. The Second Order consisted of members known as Adepts, who had completed the entire course of study for the First Order. The Second Order was formally established under the name the Order of the Red Rose and the Golden Cross. Eventually, the Osiris Temple in Weston-super-Mare, the Horus Temple in Bradford, and the Amen-Ra Temple in Edinburgh were founded. In 1893, Mathers founded the Ahithur Temple in Paris. In 1890, Westcott's alleged correspondence with Anna Sprengel suddenly ceased. He claimed to have received word from Germany that she was dead and that her companions did not approve of the founding of the order, and no further contact was to be made. If the founders were to contact the secret chiefs, it had to be done on their own. In 1892, Mathers professed that a link to the secret chiefs had been established. Subsequently, he supplied rituals for the Second Order. The rituals were based on the tradition of the tomb of Christian Rosencreutz, and a vault of adepts became the controlling force behind the Outer Order. Later in 1916, Westcott claimed that Mathers also constructed these rituals from materials he received from Frater Lux ex Tenebris, a purported continental adept. Some followers of the Golden Dawn tradition believed that the secret chiefs were not human or supernatural beings, but rather symbolic representations of actual or legendary sources of spiritual esotericism. The term came to stand for a great leader or teacher of a spiritual path or practice that found its way into the teachings of the order. Towards the end of 1899, the adepts of the Isis Urania and Amen-Ra temples had become dissatisfied with Mathers' leadership, as well as his growing friendship with Aleister Crowley. They had also become anxious to make contact with the secret chiefs themselves, instead of relying on Mathers as an intermediary. Within the Isis Urania temple, disputes were arising between Fars the Sphere, a secret society within the Isis Urania, and the rest of the Adepti Minors. Crowley was refused initiation into the Adeptus Minor grade by the London officials. Mathers overrode their decision and quickly initiated him at the Ahathura Temple in Paris on 16 January 1900. Upon his return to the London temple, Crowley requested from Miss Cracknell, the acting secretary, the papers acknowledging his grade, to which he was now entitled. To the London adepts, this was the final straw. Farr, already of the opinion that the London temple should be closed, wrote to Mathers expressing her wish to resign as his representative, although she was willing to carry on until a successor was found. Mathers believed Westcott was behind this turn of events and replied on 16 February. On 3 March, a committee of 7 adepts was elected in London and requested a full investigation of the matter. Mathers sent an immediate reply, declining to provide proof, refusing to acknowledge the London temple, and dismissing Farr as his representative on 23 March. In response, a general meeting was called on 29 March in London to remove Mathers as chief and expel him from the order. In 1901, W.B. Yeats privately published a pamphlet titled Is the Order of RR&AC to Remain a Magical Order? After the Isis Urania temple claimed its independence, there were even more disputes, leading to Yeats resigning. A committee of 3 was to temporarily govern, which included P.W. Bullock, M.W. Blackden and J.W. Brodie Innes. After a short time, Bullock resigned, and Dr. Robert Felkin took his place. In 1903, A.E. Wade and Blackden joined forces to retain the name Isis Urania, while Felkin and other London members formed the Stella Macetina. Yeats remained in the Stella Macetina until 1921, while Brodie Innes continued his Amen-Ra membership in Edinburgh. Once Mathers realized that reconciliation was impossible, he made efforts to re-establish himself in London. The Bradford and Weston-super-Mare temples remained loyal to him, but their numbers were few. He then appointed Edward Berridge as his representative according to Francis King. Historical evidence shows that there were 23 members of a flourishing Second Order under Berridge Mathers in 1913. J.W. Brodie Innes continued leading the Amen-Ra temple, deciding that the revolt was unjustified. By 1908, Mathers and Brodie Innes were in complete accord. According to sources that differ regarding the actual date, sometime between 1901 and 1913, Mathers renamed the branch of the Golden Dawn, remaining loyal to his leadership to Alpha et Omega. Brodie Innes assumed command of the English and Scottish temples, while Mathers concentrated on building up his Ahathura temple and extending his American connections. According to occultist Israel Regardie, the Golden Dawn had spread to the United States of America before 1900, and a Thoth Hermes temple had been founded in Chicago. By the beginning of the First World War in 1914, Mathers had established 2 to 3 American temples. Most temples of the Alpha et Omega and Stella Macetina closed or went into abeyance by the end of the 1930s, with the exceptions of 2 Stella Macetina temples. Hermes Temple in Bristol, which operated sporadically until 1970, and the Smaragdum Thalas's Temple in Havelock, North New Zealand, which operated regularly until its closure in 1978. Much of the hierarchical structure for the Golden Dawn came from the Rosicrucian Society of England, which was itself derived from the Order of the Golden and Rosy Cross. To that grade. As we conclude our exploration of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, we've only scratched the surface of this intricate and fascinating mystical tradition. If you're intrigued by the arcane and esoteric, consider delving deeper into the teachings of the Golden Dawn and its impact on the deep history of Western occultism. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the mystical realms of the Golden Dawn. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on the fascinating world of the occult.